Bodho'nyasādhanebhyo hi sākṣānmokṣaikasādhanam Pākasya vahnivajjñānaṃ vinā mokṣo na sidhyati. Just as the fire is the direct cause for cooking, without knowledge no emancipation can be had. Compared with all other forms of discipline, knowledge of the self is the one direct means for liberation. In the previous verse, Papakshīnānaṃ, having explained about the need for practice of austerity, one may misunderstand from it that discipline alone may lead one to their goal. To obviate any such misunderstanding, Shankara in this verse affirms that knowledge alone is the one direct means of liberation, and he gives this through a very simple example. The purpose of practice of austerities is purification of the mind, chitta shuddhi. The sadhana chatushtaya creates a favorable mental state that is conducive to knowledge and thus only prepares the seeker for the knowledge. All spiritual disciplines only train the aspirant to concentrate and hence create a necessary environment, a necessary condition, necessary purification of mind. The performance of rituals, control of mind, study of scriptures, use of discriminating intellect, etc. are all no doubt very helpful factors which aid in the spiritual growth, but they do not by themselves directly lead one to liberation. Sadhana is the means, the path, the route. The route to what? Sadhyam, which is the end or destination. Sadhya. What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is ultimate bliss. Never-ending Ananda Prapti. Knowledge is the direct means to freedom. Liberation from the one vice we all suffer from, which is anger. The cause of anger is fear. The cause of fear is attachment. The cause of attachment is projection. Projection that worldly experiences will bring me joy. Avarna. Vikshepa. And the cause of projection is incompleteness, in ignorance of what ultimate reality is. Only when we are sensitive to suffering, we will take moksha seriously. Gaining knowledge of the self is like rediscovering that joy within. How this is explained through an illustration in this verse. For cooking, we need rice, vegetables, spices, the pot or the container for cooking, etc. All these are all contributory causes. But unless the verse is given in the era where the modern equipments were not there, obviously. So it is stated that all these are okay, but the food can get cooked and we can experience the joy of the tasty, delicious food only when the fire is lit up and the cooking is made through fire. Just as the fire is the direct cause for cooking, knowledge is the direct cause for liberation. Through bhakti sadhana or yoga or even karma, one evolves. They are all very useful in their own capacity. It must be noted, however, that the misery of human beings starts only when he is ignorant of the truth that he is created by divine, as divine. And in this ignorance, he starts believing his existence as body, mind, intellect as reality. Like for each disease, only a certain prescribed treatment is required to cure the disease. The misery of human life caused due to ignorance or avidya can only be cured by vidya or jnana of our true identity, the self, Atma. Atma Bodha. Question. Acharya, is it not possible to realize God like Gopikas, Meera, Tyagaraja, Tulasidas, Kabir, etc. through the path of devotion? Answer. Yes, it is possible, provided you exist exactly like them in your devotion. Devotion in their state of existence means living in love with God and only in love with God to the extent that you look like, you appear like an insane, mad person for others in the world. Intoxicated in your love for God. It means leaving everything, not coming to the world even for few seconds, staying immersed and merged in God. This is not possible in the ashrama in which most of us are in the world, either brahmacharya or grahastha. Devotion in such state is dissolving totally in God consciousness. One will not be able to lead the grahastha life as a husband or a wife or a father or a mother in that intoxicated love for God. Whereas jnana is possible for each one. Why? Because it does not necessitate any apparent change outside. Because it starts with the self-inquiry within, and it ends in realizing the real you within, the self within. It does not ask for dissolving, but it is expansion which happens within, in the secret chamber of your heart, which the whole world, even your spouse, may not be aware of. That is why the verse says, though all other pursuits are good in themselves, it is only the direct knowledge, experience, inner experience, which will gain us the liberation, the eternal freedom. He has given this once in one session, maybe in Navavida Bhakti, he doesn't remember. He is repeating from 1975, the year when he was blessed to have darshan of Sai, and up to 2009, long period, 25 plus 9, 34 years. He was in Sai fold, extremely devoted to Sai, and he held almost all the posts, whether it was in Seva or whether it was in singing, bhakti, spiritual coordinator, zonal Sevadal coordinator, bhajan coordinator, etc. All these roles, all the devotion within, all the Samarpan bhajans taught, and the meditation on each one of them, all these were absolutely relevant and important, no doubt. But it took so many years for the inner seriousness, inner evolvement, for him to know that I am born to realize God and nothing else. And that seriousness, that evolvement, that everything was granted by Bhagavan in the last darshan in August 2010. Even he cannot take the credit for himself, for his sadhana. Even that was given, granted. Just granted like that by Swami. We may choose our sadhana path as per our samskara. A physically extremely active person, even when he says things, you can easily relate to few people in the sadhan itself, not naming them. A physically extremely active person may choose the path of action. An emotional, sensitive person may choose the path of devotion and surrender to Lord, and shed tears in his or her love for God. An intelligent person may take up the study of treatise, scriptures. But time and again, incarnations and realized masters come up and teach us through such treatises like Atma Bodha, Viveka Chudamani, all Vedanta, Upanishad, Brahma Sutras, etc. That the ultimate goal, the ultimate purpose of human birth is to get the direct awakening, direct intuitive, subjective experience of self. So they say, oh man, do not just settle at all other means only for the whole life or for several births. Don't take the means to be your end. They are all means, sacred, glorious means, but the end for anyone born as a human being is direct knowledge of self, Atma Bodha. What is happening to most devotees or spiritual aspirants? You can introspect and you can arrive at where you stand in whatever he is sharing now. We think that some bhajans that we attend and sing, some seva activity which we perform, some Balavikas classes which we take, some seminars that we participate, some Vidyavahini projects in which we involve, the Shakti Wing activities, the study circle and so on, the Parthi visits, the pilgrimages that we undertake, we think all these are all sufficient in sadhana. No problem in thinking so. But the study of these scriptures which is being dealt now should give us the awakening within that as per our aptitude, as per our environment, as per our samskara, we may postpone taking up the path of direct knowledge in this birth, in next few births, about which we don't know. We know only about this birth. But ultimately, in one birth or the other, we have to get the answer to who am I. And the answer can only be inner awakening, the realizing of our true identity as Atman, pure awareness, consciousness, which ends the vicious cycle of birth and death. And the circle is samskara. Should we postpone? Should we start now and progress in this birth itself towards the knowledge of our true self? Or we keep it for future births? Or even after all going through all these treatises, and precisely only for this reason that people avoid Vedanta. People avoid this path because this path asks for seriousness of the purpose. This path asks for you to endow yourself with sadhana chatushtaya. This path demands from you to take realization of God or realization of self as the only purpose. Whereas, like Swami said that I have come here to grant you liberation and you are satisfied with asking for coffee powder from me. People are satisfied with little spiritual sadhana, little spiritual activities, and be good, do good attitude. We are all free to carry on our life, several lives like that, no problem. God will never rebuke us, God will never punish us because He is love incarnate, Prema Swarupa. But He will continue to remind us eternally through various Vedanta treatises and through various mad persons like the one who is talking to you again and again and again, reminding you that your only purpose is to realize God or realize self. Should we postpone or should we not postpone? Ishwaram Sakshi Bhutam. Swami will only wait like he waited for Pundalika. He never walked in and shouted at Pundalika that finish your serving your parents quickly. I am waiting for you to grant liberation. He waited and waited and waited. God waits for us in our journey through this life, birth and death for several births. To look up to him and to tell him, come, give me what you have to give, for which you have been incarnating for from ages to ages. I am prepared now. The choice is totally ours. Like this, several from 2011 it started, and formally through the YouTube and the blog posts also now 4-5 years. Till Swami says, shut up, you just be with me, he will continue to keep reminding you. And even if he dies, there will be several others. The Vahinis, Satya Sai Vahinis are there. Swami's discourses are there. Various Vedanta treatises are there. And he is leaving the treasure of these YouTube talks and these blog posts for the sake of sincere spiritual aspirants in future, even after he dies. All will continue to remind you, don't postpone the purpose of your life. You may choose to just ignore all these reminders and continue to lead the life as you are leading now. He doesn't know. He can never judge whatever way you are leading your life if you are not sincerely pursuing the path of direct knowledge. Hari Om Tat Sat.